now. Okay, and we're live again. Alright, welcome back everyone to the Friday edition of the Laser Team Virtual Booth Livestream. As you can tell, we're a little bit smaller on this one. We're going to be going over, starting off with some benefits of dry fire and using the software, to setting a personal course of action, and doing some more understanding what the benefits of dry fire are. So, Jason, if you want to go through.
Sure. All right. And that microphone is what I'm talking into, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So there's two ways to practice, right? We all love going to the live range. We love spinning ammo, making noise out of money, if you will. But you can also dry fire. And so the primary differences are at the bottom there. You get a small explosion and some recoil during live fire. You don't during dry fire, and that's pretty much the main difference. You can still concentrate on your grip, your trigger control, your sight picture, your stance, everything else that comes into marksmanship, whether that's with a rifle or a pistol, carbine, or whatever. One of the things that we get asked a lot is, okay, what about recoil? Sometimes people will put it in kind of a snarky way, well, anybody can do it if it doesn't recoil. Or maybe they'll say, dry fire, that's not the same. Recoil is going to change the way your gun works or the way it functions or where the bullet goes and that kind of thing. And so I put together kind of a little bit of a quiz. We'll just go over the first couple questions here. The first one is, recoil changes the accuracy or the point of impact of your gun. That is false, and we have a nice little slow motion video here to show you. The handgun that this person is using goes off, the bullet leaves the end of the muzzle, and it actually strikes the target, and then a little bit even after that is when you can see the recoil taking over and the gun coming back. So what does that tell us? That tells us that recoil had nothing to do with where the bullet went. It had nothing to do with how the person should have aimed the gun. It had nothing to do with how the person's sight picture should have been. It probably had something to do, recoil has more to do with your grip and your stance, because you are going to need to recover from that recoil. Mm-hmm. But marksmanship really has more to do with what happens before the recoil than it does after. When you're dealing with a rifle, it's the exact same thing. In fact, the bullet's going to go out even faster, typically, with a rifle. It's going to recoil less, probably. The handgun is kind of going to be the worst case scenario, if you will. So that particular fallacy is, in fact, false. And so the next one is that dry fire is okay for all modern firearms. That one is true. We sell little laser bullets that are like snap caps that project a laser whenever the firing pin is struck. So that, in addition with just regular modern firearm design, is going to keep it from hurting your gun. Nick pointed out earlier when we were talking about this that the explosion that goes off during live fire is going to be much more harsh on your gun than the falling of the hammer on an empty chamber. Now, some exceptions to that are going to be you're not going to want to do this with old style cowboy guns, that sort of thing, where the hammer is fixed or the firing pin is fixed to the hammer. You can end up cracking or breaking your firing pin. And then rimfire guns, typically we don't recommend people dry fire without some sort of snap cap in them, because the firing pin will get bent or mushroomed when it strikes the side of the chamber where the rim would typically be. So, and then does dry fire actually work? This is one that we get asked a little bit. Some people are really into the science of it. If you're interested in the science of dry fire, I recommend you do some Googling around. There's been a lot written on it. This one in particular I really like. It was done by the Army Research Institute in 2014. They took some M&Ps, that's the gun I shoot. They took some MPs from the Army and ran them through a qualification course. They took everybody's average score, put them in 4 groups, and then they took those 4 groups of people and sent them through different types of training. The 4 types of training were, we're going to send them to the range with some live ammunition and have them practice. We're going to send them to the range with some live ammunition and have them practice a lot, meaning they got even more ammunition than the first group. And then the Army has a simulator, or had a simulator at the time, called the EST 2000. They sent people into the simulator and had them practice with that. And then the 4th group was just dry fire. They had people do what you typically think of when you dry fire. They have their handgun, they would rack it, they would take a shot, they would make sure that their sight picture and their grip and everything else was good. So typical dry fire practice, right? So kind of the end result of that, as you can see in that graph, was that really the only things that made a difference were extra ammunition at the range or dry fire. You could pull other arguments out of it, like what good is the simulator and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think the main takeaway of this is dry fire or extra rounds at the range are really kind of the 2 best ways out of these 4 anyway to get better, right? So what do we at LASR recommend as kind of a course of action? We recommend that you choose a standard, and by a standard I mean some sort of combination of distance, time, or accuracy, meaning how close to the center of a target or something like that. Combine 2 or more of those things together to come up with a standard, and we'll demonstrate how we might do that here in just a little bit with the LASR software. But choose yourself a standard and say, okay, I want to be able to hit a target from concealment in 1.5 seconds at 10 yards, something like that. That would be a standard. You would strive then in dry fire to meet that standard. Once that standard is met, then go to the live range. We do not recommend that you only dry fire. You need to go to the live range to be able to verify that what you're doing in practice is working. And then once that standard is met in the live fire setting, come back, choose another standard, adjust your standard. Maybe you say, okay, I got to 1.5 seconds. I think I can get down to 1 second. And you hammer away at dry fire until you're down to 1 second. And then once you meet that, do the same thing. It's just a big training loop, basically. If you're familiar with any sort of practice or training, that's pretty much the progression of practice in general. So sort of the basic idea of LASR is that we want to give you the tools to be able to measure, right? So you pick that standard. How do you know if you met that standard? That's what we do. That's what the software does. We let you meet your standard, help you meet your standard by helping you measure. You definitely want to have something to shoot for, no pun intended, but then you also want to be able to make sure that when you get there, you can adjust that to make it more difficult for yourself so you can improve. And that's kind of the idea behind LASR. So,
and giving you having dry fire gives you something when you actually go to the range to look forward to train on, because you've already tested those things in dry fire. When you get to a live range without having any idea what you're going to train or get better at, you're just almost literally shooting money. So it's a good idea to have like a dry fire regimen and standard in place, so that when you get to the live range, you're prepared, you know what you want to do. Exactly.
And one of the things that we're going to show here in a little bit is how you might use LASR X, which is one of our products, to find out what that standard should be, and then kind of set that standard and see if you can beat it, is kind of what we're going to do today. So we're kind of going to do a little bit of a different demonstration. For those who aren't familiar with the software, if you stumble on this video somehow and you say, what are they even talking about? LASR and LASR X are pieces of software that use cameras to watch whatever you want as a target. You can use a piece of paper, a light switch, whatever you have hanging on the wall. You point your camera at it, and then the software will show you what it sees through its camera. You're going to highlight the area that you want to shoot at, and then once you have that highlighted, you can set a bunch of different things up, like a shot timer. You can set up prompts for reloads. You can have it call targets for you. It's got a bunch of different features in it. We won't go over all of those in the amount of time we have today, but that's kind of the basic idea of what what laser is. Today we're going to be using the Laser X product, which works on pretty much any device. It'll work on cell phones, it'll work on computers, it'll work on tablets and that kind of thing. So Nick is going to be our first victim. He's going to find his standard for what I would call a target transition drill. We're going to start aimed at a target, and then we're going to transition to another target, and we're going to take a shot, and we're going to see how fast he can do that. So our standard is going to be the speed, and it's also going to be the distance from the target. So this is approximately a 4-inch target, probably a 4x2-inch target at somewhere around 10 feet. So that's a fairly strict accuracy standard. And then we're going to see how fast he can do it and try and set that time standard for himself. So, you ready to go, Nick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. So he's going to start with his SIR pistol out. He's going to start aimed at the left IPSC target, and then when he hears the start, he's going to transition to the right, and he's going to hit the A zone as fast as he reasonably can. Okay, and we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, does that make sense? Yep. So I'll step out of the way.
All right.
And Sam will start it for you.
I'm ready to go.
Did not make a sound.
Did not make a sound.
Technical difficulties. Stand by. See if it'll do it this time. Sometimes the TV has to wake up.
Go.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now we've got sound on our end. We can hear it. So let's try again. And then Nick, if you want to move just a little bit over there so people can see you in the camera. There you go. You can see your shoulder at least.
Go.
Okay. Good. So that time was 1.67, and so we'll do that 3 more times. So start on the left target.
Okay. Go. Miss.
Okay, that was a miss. It was in 1.39, so you pushed a little bit and lost a little bit of accuracy. It is a very small target at this distance, so.
Go.
Good. Good A-zone hit. That was in 1.24. You're getting better, getting more comfortable with the drill probably. Ideally, you would do this maybe half a dozen times to try and find your standard. So let's do it one more time.
Go. Miss.
Okay. Push to the speed just a little bit at 1.15 and lost a little bit on accuracy. So if I had to, if this was me and I had to pick a personal standard for myself, I would take my lowest score and my highest score, find somewhere in the middle, and since I missed a couple times, the standard is going to also include an actual A-zone hit, obviously. And then I'm going to say, all right, so somewhere between 1.15 and 1.67. So if we set the standard somewhere around, say, 1.4, right? So the standard is 1.4 at this distance, at this size of target. I'm going to go home and practice this drill, say, a dozen times a day until I can hit that standard. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to verify at the live range. I'm going to go and do this exact same drill. You can do this exact same thing at the live range. See if I can do that transition when the timer goes. Make sure that my time matches what I did in dry fire. Okay? So Sam's going to be our next victim. We're going to set a personal standard for him.
Oh, this is going to be terrible. Cold.
And then you're going to want to, we can see your shoulder there. So Sam's got a laser insert and a pistol. And Nick, if you want to start the timer there for him, you can clear your results out there.
Yeah. Clear all these out. Ready, Sam?
Yep.
Perfect. Go.
Oh. So bad I missed completely.
So bad you missed completely. Let's give him another chance.
Go. Miss.
Okay. So push speed. You hit the lower right there. Time was 0.95.
Go. Miss.
Ah.
Oh. We're hitting the right side again.
Go.
Good. got a good hit, 1.09. We'll do it one more time.
Go.
Good, got a good hit. All right, so the times vary, somewhere sub-second to just over a second. So I would say Sam's personal standard for this particular drill probably could be somewhere around 1 second. I bet he could beat that pretty easy. If he wanted to really push it, maybe like 0.95, like some of his faster shots, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we mean by setting a personal standard, right? What would be another drill that we could do that would have a personal, we could figure out what our standard should be. Let's do a multi-shot drill. So we'll need a SIR pistol, a multi-shot drill, and we'll just do one shot on each target after the beep. And we'll do that about 3 times for each person. And we'll see, we'll measure, we'll call the standard, our key performance indicator, we'll call it the total time, right? So from the draw and to the last shot, we're going to call that our total time, our key performance indicator, okay? So we'll do that drill. You just do 1, 2, 3 in whatever order you want to, as fast as you feel comfortable from the draw.
Second key performance indicator, hitting all the shots.
Hitting all of your targets. That is definitely a requirement, so yeah.
Don't be like Sam and miss lots.
Or don't be like me and miss a lot as well.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, stand by.
Go.
Okay, good. So we got 3 decent hits. The total time was 3.56. Okay, so let's do that a couple more times.
Go. Miss.
Okay, had a miss in there off the draw. So one of the things you may want to look at, if that happens to you frequently, and this isn't a pattern with Nick or anything, but if that were to happen to you frequently, off of the draw in particular, you'd probably want to check your grip. Make sure your grip off your draw is good so that when you bring it up, your natural point of aim is correct. Total time was 3.79, so pretty much in line with the last run. Let's do it one more time.
Go.
Okay, good. 3 good hits, and total time was 3.46. So if we were to extrapolate some sort of personal standard from that, at this distance, at these size of targets, we're going to say you could probably get that in about 3.5 on a pretty regular basis from the draw and everything. So that's good. Good run.
I figure like one thing from straight off the draw is getting the sight picture down. I think that once I transition to the second and third shots, I already have that mostly dialed in, so the transition is easier.
Yep.
It's more about that going from here to here and having my eye in line with it to be able to take the shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. In case you couldn't hear what Nick was saying, he thinks that part of his particular issue there with the time was that off of the draw, that first shot, getting the sight picture was kind of the issue for him a couple times. And so one of the things he can do is isolate that one thing. And he can say, okay, off the draw, I'm going to take one shot. And I'm going to practice my draw. I'm going to practice getting that sight picture and isolate that. Come back to this drill, see what his personal standard, if he can meet his personal standard. One of the other things you can do, Nick, to look at that is you can see your draw time separate from your transition from target to target using the splits. So the split time is your transition from one target to the next in this particular drill. And so you can use that information to confirm what you're thinking about that as well, where your draw was just over 2 seconds, but your transitions were like half second or maybe a little more than half a second most of the time. So so that'd be some good information you could use to kind of help yourself move faster with this particular drill. So Sam, you're the next victim.
Yay, the bludgeonings.
So Nick, if you want to start that.
Yeah. I'm going to clear my stuff out of the way first.
Gotta get used to this garment clearing business.
Ready?
Yep.
Go. Miss. Miss.
Nope.
Oh, 2 misses.
Start pushing. I
So,
push before I get accurate.
Good time. Yeah, good times. 284. Let's get those hits.
Go.
Good. So you took a little extra time to aim on that first one? Yep, good. Good time still. 282.
Go.
Miss.
Ah,
Yeah. Fell apart.
I get excited. I'm like, oh, I got 3. All right.
Let's give him one. Let's give him one
Give
more
me
chance.
one
One
more.
more chance.
Get some good ones in.
Go.
Good. Okay, good time, 3.2. So you're hovering right around the 3-second range, so I'd say that'd be a good personal standard for you.
What's
So
my draw from concealment? What is that?
draw from concealment, it's looking to be just over 2, somewhere around sub 2.5, something like that. So
All of you criminals that are trying to get at me, give me 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds, that's all you get. So good. So let's say you were doing something like this on your own and you didn't have somebody else to start the timer for you, right? So let's talk about something in LASRX that would help you do that. There's something called auto restart. It trips some people up. We can talk about that here in a second. Do you know if anybody's asked any questions or anything like that? Have you been monitoring that?
Yeah, people are just, we haven't gotten any questions. Again, if you like to submit a question, just do it into the comment section of the live stream. We'd love to answer that for you.
Yep.
We usually just keep tabs on it on my phone right here. So, yeah, you should be good to go. So nobody's asked too many questions.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about how you would set LaserX up to do this on your own. So let's say I wanted to do a personal standard like we were doing, and I wanted to do 5 runs, right? So Sam, if you would go into the settings for us, you go out to setup, and you would go into the shot timer, and then you would turn on, and you can't see it because of the...
Flip this
I'm
out
in
of
the way.
way.
I'm in the way of the settings. There we
There you
go.
are.
Okay. So then you would turn on auto restart. Go ahead and do that. And you would say, I want to restart 5 times. And then you can set your, basically, when you want it to restart. So you could say, when I get 3 good hits. You could say, when par is reached, and that sort of thing. And that's when the computer's going to know, okay, this is when I need to start the next run. Okay? And then the start delay towards the top is going to be the amount of time between when the computer decides to restart and when the timer actually beeps again. And so those are the settings you need to pay attention to when you're doing a auto restart drill. So that would be the way you would do it on your own at home if you didn't have somebody else to run the software for you. So lots and lots of other stuff in there, including remote control targets. That's another option. So Sam, if you want to jump out and draw like a remote control target for us somewhere on the right hand edge.
Okay.
So if you didn't want to use auto restart, you needed more time to kind of put your garment back together or something like that, you could use the clear and restart target or just the start target or however you'd like to do that. And then go ahead and go into shooting and we'll demonstrate how that might work. So it's going to lock and calibrate those targets. So when Nick is ready to shoot, you can kind of see his arms come into frame there. He's going to shoot that empty spot. It's a little bit lower. We don't have a marker for it, so it's up and to the right a little bit from there. There you go. So you hit that remote control target.
Miss.
Yep, the start delay is set to something really small right now. You would want to up that start delay so you had time to reholster and that kind of thing. But that's kind of how you would use the remote control targets. So
we've gotten questions before of people asking about how do you have to click on the start restart or the start shooting button on here. Like you can do it for you set up your camera like this and just shoot that clear and start shooting and then be ready to go right there instead of having to click start on the computer each time.
Yep.
It's an easier way, say, if your camera and computer are set up closer and you're a bit farther back, that makes it easier than having to walk back and forth each time.
Yep, and that's pretty typical actually. Especially if you're in a big room like a basement, you might have your computer or your camera or your iPad or something like that kind of on a tripod up closer to the targets. You can be way, way back, far away. You can be, 20, 30, 40, however much room you have in your dry fire area. You can be as far away as you want. And this remote control target allows you to activate the software and reset it and that sort of thing from a distance. So you don't have to walk all the way up, change it, and then come back. So, okay. Any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, Garrett's asking a question. This is a purchased add-on. No, the ability to do the remote control is part of the LaserX software itself. So once you get access to it, that's one of the features that's included.
Yep. So far today, we've shown nothing that is a purchased add-on. Everything that we've shown so far today is built into the base software, including the auto restart and that sort of thing. Nothing like that. So,
and we obviously have the IPSC targets set up there right now. Obviously, if you wanted to do more specific ones, we have the target templates where you have an IPSC target you can put up there with the zones and the scoring based on the zones, time factor, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that's an option, but you can also do this one where you literally draw a rectangle over the A zone and use that as your target.
Exactly. Like I said at the beginning, you can use anything you want as a target. So, okay. Anybody else want to do anything else for a drill? I guess I haven't done any of the drills. I can give it a try.
Yes.
Yes.
No, actually, that could be a good or bad thing. It's like,
you're gonna show us up.
Jason gets rusty, or oh my Lanta, like Jason smoked us all again. All right, what do we want to do, Jason?
Let's just do the 1-1-1 drill since we're kind of set up for that.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right.
So I'm gonna take a sight picture here real quick. Okay. Make sure I have 2 sights on my gun, not just one or something silly like that.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Go. Miss.
Oh, got a miss on the first one.
I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Except yours is way faster. All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Go. Miss.
Oh, that's not good.
Stand by.
Go.
There we go. 3 good hits. What was the time on that?
3.15.
3.15.
With the
Okay.
draw of 226.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna game it a little bit.
You're gonna
I'm gonna
shoot the
game
gun upside down.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Stand by.
Go. Miss.
Oh, I still missed. I thought off the draw it'd be easier to hit the big target, so I thought I'd game it.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well.
We need to ask Riley how he would game this one.
That's right.
It's on here in a couple
Yeah.
minutes. All right. One more time. Stand by.
Go.
Oh, bad draw.
Miss.
Well, your draw was 273.
273. Yeah.
Well,
Give me a good one to end on here.
yeah.
Go.
That middle target. The studio lights might be interfering with that middle target a little bit.
Yeah, fluorescent lights suck. All right. We'll do it again.
Okay.
All right. And
Go.
Having some lighting issues.
yeah, well, and it's an IR camera, so
Yeah.
with fluorescence, IR cameras do not like those very much. So if you have an IR camera and have fluorescent lights,
Yeah.
just know you might have an issue.
That's right. So.
If you're doing it in an office somewhere, I don't know
See,
who is.
basements. My basements have fluorescent lighting in them.
How are we doing on time?
So it's about 1:30 right now. We're just waiting on Riley
Okay.
to get in here.
Yep.
You'll be having Riley Bauman from concealedcarry.com come in here. We're just going to ask him some questions and talk about different things for training, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do. Why don't we jump over into a challenge? Let's see what we can find in the challenge. What's one you have unlocked there, Sam?
Yeah, I used to have all of them.
And then, do we have any questions or anything like that?
I don't believe so at the moment. There's just that one question. Yeah, we don't have any current questions right now. So yeah,
Okay.
Again, if you've got any questions, please put them down in the Facebook chat. We'll be able to see them and answer them for you.
Yeah, we've got a nice setup today where you can see the laser software. So if you've got any questions about Laser Classic or Laser X or anything like that, we can definitely explain those for you.
Let's go, since we all have cert pistols on us. Oh, we already did
We're-
the 111.
We were supposed to have this setup coming on Wednesday, but we're using a different capture device to be able to use Laser X from a different computer. But it didn't come in on Wednesday.
No.
Sad, but
Yeah.
You want a single shot one, Jason, or what do you think? You want basic?
Yeah, single shot's fine
Pistol
if
grind?
that's what you have. I did
I
want
mean, I have a bunch, but
I did want to jump in real quick and talk about challenges. You have a question?
yeah, Gary has a question. Some of these drills on Laser software too. I'm thinking
Yep.
he's talking about Laser Classic.
Yep. So everything we've done today was just us drawing targets and setting things up. So you can use Laser Classic to do the exact same thing that we've done today so far. We're going to jump into a feature of Laser X called Challenges. What I wanted to say about Challenges is that it is a Laser X feature. Laser Classic has a different set of things called exercises in the laser community, and you can find different standards and that kind of thing in the laser community. Challenges were kind of our way of guiding people through what we recommend as sort of a training regimen. I know a lot of times it's, even if you're working out at the gym or something, it's kind of hard to just kind of come up with something for the day like, okay, what am I going to do? I guess I'll do the same thing I did yesterday. And it gets boring really quick. So we wanted to try and add something to Laser X that would help people sort of find a new energy and be able to do dry fire on a longer term basis. And so the challenges are kind of the way that we did that. So if we can jump into the, he's getting Riley set up. So.
Riley's ready to go. We're just having some technical issues right now. So
yeah. So I'll let Nick take care of that. We're still. Can they still see Laser X?
yes.
Okay. All right. So you're seeing what Sam is doing, and the basic idea of challenges is that it's going to give you a score, right? So it's going to give you an accuracy score, it's going to give you a speed score, or it's going to give you a combination score of those two things. So the idea is that if you pick, which one did you end up picking?
I'm gonna go with one that like we don't have any stars on, so we can see that.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We can do that.
So it'll be support hand only marksmanship.
Support hand only marksmanship. So in this one, are we going for accuracy, speed, or balance?
Right now it is just under accuracy.
Just for accuracy. And which target are we using? We're using the middle one?
I haven't quite got there, but
Okay.
we'll go with the middle one because that's typically how those are in general terms.
Okay. So you'll get to
Set up.
see Sam set up the challenge. The very first time you run a challenge, it's going to have you set up the target and adjust it to the size of the target you have and that sort of thing. And then once that is set up, he's going to go ahead and say done. And this particular challenge is just accuracy, so I'm trying to get as close to the middle of the target as I can get with my support hand only. And this is not off the draw?
No, so you can see right here it has firing instructions that'll come up, and that's always good to just reread those even
Yep.
if you think you know what you're doing.
Yep, so read the firing instructions. Typically there's a little video that kind of gives you an idea of how that works. And so support hand for me is going to be my right hand because I'm left-handed. So let me get into the shooting position here. And I'm going to start aimed at the target, or what's the start position?
Yeah, so you're aimed at the target.
Okay.
So the firing instructions are using your support hand, your non-firing or non-dominant hand, only fire 5 accurate shots.
Okay.
You can use your other hand to help reset the weapon if you're using a not resettable trigger.
Right.
So, and then we'll just click on got it,
Okay.
and then you can be started on target as well.
Okay.
1 second, Riley. Riley's on in just a second, so he's ready to go.
Okay.
We'll do this drill quick and we'll get him on.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
So it's
Ready.
5 shots
Mhm.
at the center.
Mhm.
Go. Drill complete.
So since that was an accuracy-based challenge, I just decided to take my time. My weak hand,
Well
my
done.
forward hand, is not my strongest shooting hand, so decided to just try and get as close as I could, best I could. I got 2 stars, so I'm happy about that. That's
On
not
my
bad.
account. So,
On yours.
yes, I got 2 stars.
So Sam's player now has 2 stars on that particular challenge. So if I wanted to run it again, let's do that again.
Okay.
Ready. Go. Drill complete.
Okay. Improve the score just a little bit there, so that's good.
Yep.
And then you just go through, you try and get as many stars as you can, is kind of the idea. So, all right. So Sam and I are going to move out of the way. Nick, you and Riley take over the show and let us know about concealcarry.com.
Yeah.
All right?
Give me one moment. Let me get everything there. There you are. Riley, give me one moment. They don't believe they can hear you at the moment, but we'll get you in. Whoop. All right, that should be good now.
How about this?
Yeah, we got you now. Perfect.
Excellent.
How are you doing today, Riley?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Yeah. Like how our interview went on Wednesday, we're going to be asking Riley just some questions about concealcarry.com and how they're doing with everything that's going on. So, Riley, I just want to ask you the first question is some of our viewers might know about concealcarry.com, some might. So, what are the origins of concealcarry.com and why was the company founded? And just give like basic summary about what the main points of your company are about.
Yeah. Well, the company has existed in some form or another for probably close to a decade or more, maybe even now. I lose track of time. But it was 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years ago now. I lose track of time. Man, I should have penned a bio before I came on. But we acquired the domain name concealcarry.com a couple of years ago and transitioned over because that was our goal. We wanted to become the number one, the nation's resource on concealed carry information, education, training, and products. And it was harder to do that without having a domain name like concealedcarry.com.
Right.
So, our goal is to do just that, to provide all the training, education, and products to self-defense minded individuals and, to do the best job we can at that.
Perfect.
I'm getting some noise. It sounds like digital interference. FYI.
Okay. We can try to keep this as best. Again, like tech issues we've had today already, so we should be able to get through this and fine. But another question I wanted to ask you specifically about concealed carry and LASR is the Shooter Ready Challenge you've been doing every single month. So we started pushing that a lot more, and they've got a bunch of great drills. So what are kind of the origins of the Shooter Ready Challenge itself, and how did that idea originate that you could use LASR software to show a bunch of different drills to be able to reach out to both your customers and our customers to give them great ideas of drills that they can do?
Right. Well, we've been big proponents of dry fire practice for years. Since the beginning really of the company, it's just been a part of the process. As we see it, everybody that carries a gun or relies on a gun for personal defense is somewhere on the spectrum of, what I like to call or refer to as a self-defense or concealed carry journey.
Right.
You're either brand spanking new at it, you don't know anything, you just bought your first gun, you just barely got your permit, you're just now starting to think about carrying concealed. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, you've been doing it for 15, 20 years, you're a cop, you're former special forces soldier or whatever it is. There's a myriad of different places people are at in their journey. And one thing we recognized early on is just how important a role dry fire practice plays in that, no matter who you are.
Right. Yeah.
You look at some of the top shooters in the nation. I mean, there are certainly some exceptions. Rob Latham would be one where he doesn't really say he does any dry fire, but it's nice when somebody's buying your 50,000 or 100,000 rounds that you're shooting every year. But we don't all have that option, and so there's many high level competitive shooters, tactical and defensive shooters that when they're training hard and they're putting in a lot of work, they're doing dry fire.
Yeah.
That's how you get good. You need the repetitions. Most of us do not have the time in our days to dedicate to being at the range all day long, nor do we have the money and the resources to spend that kind of money in ammo.
Right.
So the way we get a lot of repetitions, I mean, it takes thousands of repetitions to get good at draw, to get good at just understanding how to manipulate that trigger without any unnecessary movement to the gun. It takes thousands of repetitions. And the way anybody can, regardless of where you are at skill level, can get some benefit and get some repetitions is right in the comfort of your own home, at your work, your office, in your garage, in your backyard. And whether you pull out your gun and you make it safe and you do dry fire practice with your live gun, but in a safe manner and a safe environment, or if you're doing a SIRT pistol or some kind of laser cartridge or whatever it is, there's huge opportunities for growth to become good shooters. And, if you're serious about concealed carry, which, obviously we're concealedcarry.com.
Right.
We want you to be well prepared as shooters, to be as best as you can be, because you're going to need to be the best that you can be on the worst day of your life.
Exactly.
And you never know when that's going to come. So daily dry fire practice is one of the things that I use to ensure that that I'm sharp every day, because I never know when that crappy day. I hope that day never comes, but you never know when it's going to come if it does.
Yeah. And Jason showed that picture of how the graph of all the study that was done, how dry fire vastly improves performance. Or you can have a crap ton of ammunition. That does work too, as we've shown, but dry fire is the best option for most people who are interested in concealed carry. Those are the kind of people that dry fire would immensely help.
That's right. I mean, it's really just a factor of economy and efficiency. I mean, if I could tell you that you could achieve X, skill level, and you had two options of achieving that. One is spending $10,000 worth of ammunition and whatever you would in range fees or memberships or whatever, plus maintenance on your gun, plus other ancillary gear and all that to go to the range and shoot whatever 10,000. Well, of course, it doesn't buy as much now with the ammo prices currently, but as it once did. But $10,000 worth of ammo, okay, and go to the range, and if you do these drills and you work on these skills, like you'll achieve X skill level, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yeah. Or you could spend 15 minutes a day for 6 months. Yeah. And almost cost you nothing. And then supplement that with one or, if you're lucky, one trip a week to the range. Maybe it's one or twice a month to the range. But you supplement all that dry fire work, and you maybe expend $1,000 or $2,000 worth of ammo as opposed to $10,000 worth of ammo. Right. But yet you achieve that same skill level. Well, I'm all about economy and efficiency. Yeah. And if I can really extend the my resources to get to the level that I want to get to. Well, dry fire just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So with Shooter Ready Challenge, I mean, that was we wanted to do something that was kind of informational and educational, meaning that we're talking about and teaching some skills as part of those dry fire sessions, and then also kind of making it into a bit of a game. Using LASR app software or LASR X. Specifically, we're using LASR X for Shooter Ready Challenge, and not only that, but participants in Shooter Ready Challenge have the opportunity to win 200 rounds of ammo from AmmoSupplyWarehouse.com. So we pick a lucky winner every month that has participated in the Shooter Ready Challenge. So that was also part of the goal was, guys, it's not just about dry fire. It's that this is a supplement, and we do want to encourage people to further take that to the next level and get to the range and practice they're practicing at home. So participate in Shooter Ready Challenge, get in a lot of repetitions, a lot of dry fire practice work, and then have the opportunity to win ammo, go to the range and shoot and have fun. Yeah. Okay. Go to the range and shoot and learn and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things, though, is in kind of what's been going on with the world lately, a lot of people probably don't have access to the range that they once did. Many ranges might be closed. So how would you talk about with people, how can they better do more training that they might not have access to, especially with the current pandemic going on?
Yeah. Well, at the most basic level, take your live gun, all right? Make it safe, meaning completely unload it, double check it, triple check it, place any live ammunition, any of that kind of stuff, totally somewhere else in a different room, lock it in a box, whatever you got to do. And then just, actually, you know what? I'm going to share what I just talked with George Harris about yesterday on my podcast. George Harris, a long-time respected instructor, formerly one of the co-founders of SIG Academy. And he was talking about a drill called the wall drill. And it basically is just dry fire with your live gun, just standing there, getting your stance, get your grip, all that, and then focusing on alignment of the sights and working on learning how to manipulate that trigger, get those trigger presses to where you don't see any disruption to those sights as that trigger breaks. And he calls it the wall drill because he recommends you do it basically with the muzzle of the gun almost at a wall. So what that forces you to do is, like, you don't have a third plane that you're really that concerned about, that you're not trying to look at some target that's 5, 10, 15 feet away, plus look at your front sight, plus look at, see all that through your rear sight. Right. But it really forces you to focus on your sights, particularly your front sight. Of course, everyone knows how important it is to learn that proper alignment and learn those trigger manipulations. And so at a most basic level, that's a great place to get started and just get some super basic trigger work, dry fire practice work that's going to make a big difference. It'll pay dividends in the long run. Yeah. If you approach it with discipline and stick with it and do it on a regular basis. I mean, I always say, like, 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day is all you got to do. If you have a good plan and you spend 15 minutes a day consistently doing dry fire practice, you're going to see huge gains in weeks and months, especially down the road. So I heard, like, a quote that has a lot to do with that is you have to do it every day and it will get better. You just got to do it every day. That's the hard part. So making sure that you can set 15 minutes of your time to do either like the wall drill, like you were saying, or dry fire with LASR X, just doing something and setting a goal for what you want to do each day will vastly help you improve, not just in shooting, but in most things in life in general. So yeah, that's a big one, making sure you're doing something every single day to practice. I keep a SIRT pistol or sometimes I have both, a live pistol with like a laser cartridge in it, or maybe I've got a barrel block in it, just so I know that live pistol is set up and that it's safe. And it's just sitting there on my desk, a lot of times when I'm working, especially the SIRT pistol. SIRT pistol is always there. And I don't know how many repetitions I get through the day. I mean, granted, that type of practice may not be the most focused, most efficient type of practice, but I just have an array of targets on my wall, on my opposite wall from my desk. And I don't, honestly, I can't quantify. I don't keep track of how many reps and how much time I put in just sitting at the desk, or I'll stand up from the desk or whatever, but I'm right there. It's constantly in front of me. So it's at the forefront of my mind. So it's not one of those things I have to think about and go, oh, I got to do dry fire. Go get my equipment, get it out. I keep it right there at the ready. Quite often. Now, maybe not everyone has the opportunity to do that. Maybe where you work, that would not be such a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
But just taking steps to try to keep that at the front of your mind and make it easy to do. Like, why not? Just and honestly, I was reminded of Jerry Mitchell, who was on our podcast a while ago now, and he was talking about in his early days as he was learning and as he was becoming amazing like he is, now everybody knows him to be. Everyone knows how good his trigger finger is, how fast it works, and how, just how good it is because he hits what he's aiming at, right?
Yeah.
And he does it very quickly. Well, he talks about how he just was commuting to work at the time, wherever he worked, and he had basically a blank revolver frame or something like that he just had on the seat of his pickup truck. It wasn't a complete assembled firearm or anything like that. It's just something that he had right there on the pickup seat, that as he's driving down the road, hand on the wheel, but the other hand's over here on his practice revolver, just going click, 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 and just getting all of those repetitions. And that's why he is so well regarded for his trigger manipulation.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of huge. Like, being able to find a way to practice. I know a lot of people are working from home now. Great way to have everything that you need and being able to practice. We've always said practicing in your own home. Well, if you're working from home, that makes it a lot easier to take even a 5-minute break and just do some trigger pulls. Set up your camera and just do a couple of challenges in LASR X.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll say this much too, Nick, that LASR X is the best thing you guys have ever come up with, because it now is something that truly is at my fingertips. Talk about ease of practice, of making it easy on yourself, having the tools at your disposal. LASR X is awesome because I can run it on my phone, I can run it on my iPad, I can run it on my computer, any of those devices. I've always got my phone with me, right? Yeah. So if I want to just set something up really quick, bam, LASR X. A couple of, take a switch plate on a wall and make that a target, and just do a couple build drills or whatever it is, right? That LASR X is the best thing ever. I can't say enough good stuff about LASR X. I mean, it's constantly getting better too. I know you guys are always working on making improvements, adding more drills and challenges and stuff to it. But it's amazing. Yeah. Good work.
So we're getting kind of towards the end of time. So just wanted to ask you one more question. We know for a fact that we've looked at the stats that there are a lot of new first-time gun owners who have purchased their firearm in the past month with everything going on. Do you have any words of advice to give to somebody who's just purchased their first handgun, not sure what to do next?
Go to concealcarry.com.
Setting it up for you on that one.
Well, we work really hard we have a whole, we call them core content pieces or articles, content pieces. If you go to our website, and you can basically pull up, it's on the menu, and you can organize content by topics and stuff, and we have these core content pieces too that are, a lot of just good basic information and educational type stuff. I would always point people to my own website, obviously self-promotion, but because we work hard to have some really good resources out there for people. Our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, we do these weekly shop talk videos now as well, which is, about, just kind of digging into some of these specific skill sets and just different things, and it's my opportunity once a week to kind of just sort of teach some stuff as an instructor, and so I try really hard to put out some good content that way. All right, so enough about the self-promotion, but honestly, like, somebody just went and bought a gun. Like, now what? All right, you need to read up on everything that you can. All right, find as much good information as you can. Books, magazines, online articles. Don't trust everything that you find out there that you read. Try to use an analytical approach and really think deeply about what you read and what you study, or even the YouTube videos that you watch, and start putting that together in your mind and asking, does that make sense? Does that really work? And then find somebody that you trust, that is more experienced than you, and start bouncing things off of them. And then, of course, you got to get out and take some classes. Take some training courses. There's a lot that you can do to learn and study and grow on your own, but you will vastly accelerate that if you can take good live in-person training from a skilled instructor. And by that I mean a good teacher,
right?
Not just somebody that, well, hey, I was a SWAT cop for all these number of years or whatever, but somebody that's actually a good teacher and can teach you well.
Somebody who knows the right technique, the right form, and everything. So,
well, it's all about the delivery, right?
Yeah.
There's many people out there that are extremely well experienced, real world experience, but terrible at teaching, terrible at communicating that, terrible at those adult learning principles. So you gotta find that whole package. Somebody that's skilled and experienced, but is also a very good teacher.
Yeah. Anyway, Riley, it was good to talk to you today. Again, if you want to see more about what Riley and the rest at concealedcarry.com are doing, go to, of course, concealedcarry.com. Check out the Concealed Carry podcast, and check out the Shooter Ready Challenge to get more ideas about how to use Laser X in your dry fire program. So thank you for coming on to the program, Riley, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good day now.
You too. We'll see you.
All right. Bye. Whoop. Enjoy my email there for a second. All right. That's it, everyone. It's been a fun hour. I hope you enjoyed this week of live streams from LASR. We got to show you a lot about dry fire. We got to show you a lot about what's going on with us, what's going on with some other people in the industry. So just want to check if we have any questions before we get off. Richard asking if we do Mantis X. Mantis X is a different product. That's different. But yeah, I mean, I want to thank you all for coming and watching over these 3 days. We would love to do this again sometime, and with a lot of things that are going on, stay tuned. We'll keep you informed if we're doing anything like this again. So I want to thank you all for coming and enjoying our live stream. Have a good day.